Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon, guys. Today, our topic is about the presentation of the effect of digital transformation on strategic decision making, a case study on Netflix from 2015 to 2025. Our team members are Franca Omogor Uboka and Jebul Ahmed, Nishikak Daniel Eten Tuk, Sravani Sarkar, Chenidu Stephanie Chenuin. Introduction. The study explored the impact of digital transformation on strategic decision making and understanding digital transformation tools while help to influence. Netflix is a leading example of an over the top digital transformation. This study hopes to explore how its content concentration, market segmentation, and market expansion has been impacted by digital technology. Our research gap is insufficient studies directly connecting digital technology and the process of decision processing. No clarify in majority of research work on human versus algorithms in strategic planning and decision making. And the other one is limited longitudinal analysis on Netflix digital strategy. Next slide. A statement of problem. Numerous researchers has been carried out on digital transformation, yet very limited empirical analysis focus on how digital transformation tools are applied and how it directly impact on the strategic decision making over the top organization, for example Netflix, and the actual understanding of the strength of algorithms against human judgment and how it's interact in Netflix. There is been no actual focus on the period of study last decade where has been a major and sufficient technological advancement. Our aim is to assess the effect of digital transformation within Netflix strategic decision making structure between 2015 to 2025. Our objectives is to highlight the innovative initiatives implemented by Netflix between 2015 to 2025 to measure the impact of digital tools, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and how it's affect Netflix strategic decision making, and to evaluate the effect of digital transformation on efficient service delivery, speed, and quality within Netflix. To understand the Netflix organizational model between 2015 to 2025. Our research question and hypothesis. Number one, in what way has digital transformation impacted Netflix as an organization and its decision making strategies between 2015 to 2025? And the second one is what digital tools or data analytical resources did Netflix deploy between this period under study? And third one, how did these tools enhance Netflix competition advantage and market response? Hypothesis, we have three hypotheses. Number one, there is a strong nexus between Netflix level of global spread segment engagement and its adoption of digital transformation between 2015 to 2025. Number two hypothesis is the quality efficient service delivery of Netflix decision making has been influenced by algorithms insights. And number three, human judgment stands as a factor to manage the total reliance on artificial intelligence decision.
Our next slide is literature review. In literature review, we're going to look at the various research opinions of various researchers across the globe and how they have looked at digital transformation and how it has affected decision making, especially as it has to do with Netflix. We'll first look at the concept of digital transformation. Digital transformation is essentially a business transformation that comes about as a response to changes in customer behavior. This, according to Jonick et al. In 2019, is looked at as due to rapidly advancing technology. The adoption and implementation of the disruptive digital tools, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, data analytics, enables organizations to improve on their decision-making process and operational efficiency. This is according to Hussein et al. In 2024 in their work. We also would look at what Suterman and Karim in 2025 argued in their work, whereas they looked at the Netflix Instrumental Alliance with influential state agencies, and this study was particularly looked at in Korea and Australia. They argued that Netflix had much more influence with state agencies, with the fact that there's a digital liberalization in the area of digitalization in the sector in these two countries. And so they did not opine it correct that it had impact in the strategy in which Netflix had a structure in decision making. And in a sharp contrast as well, we looked at what Ochinsen et al. In 2018 argued in the article that comparing excuse me,
Digital media.
comparing digital media industries in South Korea and Australia, the case of Netflix, it opines that it was more of a political economy situation, whereas they lashed on the cultural policies and regulation in these two continents. And therefore, their argument was such that Netflix had very little impulse when it had to do with digital transformation that affected their decision-making process. We also will look at the argument from different various schools of thought that some even pretend that the effective decision making translate to mean speed, accuracy, and adaptability. The game theory, as we will adopt in this study, as developed by John Vaughan and Oscar Motkesten, provides a framework for the analysis that we intend to carry out. And they argue in the argument with the game theory is that we will be able to juxtapose the various complexities as the argument from other researchers would look at it. Now, the equilibrium concept, as well as introduced by Nash, also analyzes the strategic decision-making process and how it affects competitors' behavior. This is also some kind of argument which creates the research gap, which is the reason why we intend to study how digital transformation affects decision-making in Netflix. Netflix as a body and digital transformation, we'll try to look at it as well in our literature review. As one of the leading businesses in the digital space, Netflix has revolutionized the demand for audiovisual materials all over the world. Founded in 1997 as a rental company, Netflix has grown into a renowned streaming platform that has offered a wide selection of unique content. This control of influence as a worldwide digital entertainment leader has not only grown and increased subscriber base, but also continuously created innovation, adaptability in the market, and changes in realities. Therefore, the argument across the various researchers has created the gap with which we intend to study here. And the methodology with which we want to use first is to look at our research design. We want to use a case study basis, which of course is a use of the analysis of Netflix digital transformation between 2015 and 2025. We intend to use both qualitative and quantitative, that's a mixed approach to deploy to this research. We would also look at our data collection process, which is going to be a primary one through interviews with managerial and technical staff within Netflix. The focus group also would have to look at and take our surveys with question and answer sessions within the media and the IT industry. The next slide also looks at the limitation of the study. The study does have quite a number of limitations, but we'll highlight just a few. Given the slim nature of the case study, this may limit generalizing our finding. The dependence on public publicly available data, because we have to rely on the data available in the space, will also hinder our study quite a bit. The typical confidential nature of organizations such as Netflix would also be some kind of a limitation. And the period under study may have a limited scope, because a lot of things may have not been looked at within the period, or may not have happened within the 10-year period. However, we'll move on to the next slide, which is also looking at our secondary data option. This is where we would be looking at the reports from Netflix and look at the industry analysis available to us published in scholarly journals. And then with our quantitative data from Netflix financials and strategic performance reports within the period of 2015 and 25 will aid our secondary data process. We also will look at analyzing the data we'll collect. Thematic analysis will be carried out to identify recurring patterns and strategic themes. We would also look at statistical correlation and regression analysis between the hypotheses that we propose in the study and the impact with which digital transformation had or has had on their decision-making process. Our theoretical framework will be built around the game theory, which will analyze Netflix as an organization and the dynamics which they make their decisions within the system. We'll look at their competitive rivalry, look at their content acquisition and their original programming, also look at the adoption of technology and cloud migration and global expansion. And this is what the game theory is about, looking at the various variables and putting them side by side to make sure that we can isolate how decision-making has been influenced by the digital transformation process has occurred within the period of 2015 and 2025 in Netflix. The game theory in the case study of Netflix and its journey from when it was a DVD rental business to a global streaming platform shows that the interaction between competitors, technology, and customers alike has impacted greatly in the strategic decision making over the years. The proposal ends with our conclusion that we hope, and I mean our expectation, that this work would provide empirical insights into digital strategy. We also hope that it will give better understanding to digital technology, its tool, and how they impact on strategy of making decisions. We also hope that this work will contribute to the body of work, especially on algorithm and human collaboration. These are the list of our references as they are highlighted here. Thank you very much.